Chapter 1. The rich don't work for money. The poor and the middle class work for money. The rich make money work for them. Daddy, tell me how to get rich. Father put down the evening paper. Why do you want to be rich, son? Because today Jimmy's mom arrived in her new Cadillac and took the family to the beach house for the weekend. Jimmy took 3 friends, but did not invite Mike and me. We are told that they did not take us because we are the children of the poor. Really? Father didn't believe it. Yes, it's true, I replied in an offended tone. Father silently shook his head, adjusted his glasses on the bridge of his nose, and began to read again. I stood and waited for him to answer. It was 1956. I was 9 years old. It so happened that I went to the same school with the children of rich parents. Our town grew up on the side of a sugar plantation. Plantation managers and other prosperous residents, doctors, businessmen, and bankers, sent their children to this school for the first 6 years. After the 6th grade, they were usually transferred to private schools. Our family lived on the side of the street that belonged to this school, so I went there. If we lived on the other side, I would be sent to another school where children from families more similar to mine studied. After the 6th grade, both I and these children continued to study at a public school. There were no private schools for us. Finally, my father put down the newspaper. It was evident that he was thinking. Well, son, he began slowly, if you want to get rich, you need to learn how to make money. But how to make money? I asked. Think about it. He smiled, which actually meant either I won't tell you anything else or I don't know the answer, so don't confuse me. First partnership. The next morning, I told my best friend, Mike, about my conversation with my father. As far as I knew, Mike and I were the only poor children in this school. He, just like me, got into this school by a strange whim of fate. Someone drew the line of schools across our district, and we ended up in a school for the rich. We weren't really poor, but we thought so because all the other boys had new baseball gloves, new bikes, everything new. Mom and Dad gave us everything we needed, food, a roof over our heads, clothes, but no more. My father used to say, if you want something, you have to earn it. We wanted a lot, but who will hire 9-year-old boys? Well, how are we going to make money? Mike asked. I don't know, I replied. Do you want to be my partner? He agreed, and that Saturday morning I had my first business partner. We've been making plans all morning about how to make money. Sometimes we thought about the rich people who are now having fun in Jimmy's beach house. It was a little insulting, but this insult turned out to be constructive, because it inspired us to look for ways to get rich. Finally, after dinner, it dawned on us. Mike once read this idea in a popular science book. We winked at each other with delight, and the partners got their own business. Over the next few weeks, Mike and I ran around the neighborhood, knocking on neighbors' doors and begging them to leave toothpaste tubes for us. Adults were usually surprised at first, and then agreed with a smile. Some asked what we were up to. To this we answered, we cannot tell you that. It's a trade secret. Mom soon became worried because we chose a place next to her washing machine for the raw materials warehouse. Our collection of used tubes gradually grew in a cardboard box where ketchup bottles were once stored. Finally, my mother's patience snapped. She was tired of seeing dirty and wrinkled tubes. What are you doing? She asked. And stop talking about some trade secrets. Clean up everything quickly, otherwise I'll throw everything away myself. Mike and I begged and begged, explaining that soon we would have enough raw materials and it would be possible to start production. We told her that we were waiting for a few neighbors to finish their tubes and we could pick them up. Mom took pity and gave us another week to deadline. The start of production had to be accelerated due to external circumstances. Business partners received the first warning from the warehouse. From my own mother, it was now Mike's responsibility to ask the neighbors to slow down with the toothpaste, reminding them that the dentist advised brushing their teeth more often. I started assembling the production line. One fine day, my father, driving up to the house with a friend, saw 2 9-year-old boys on the road, busy with production. Everything around was covered with white powder. There were paper milk bags on the long table, and coals were blazing in the grill. Father cautiously approached. He had to leave the car at the entrance because our production line blocked the way to the garage. Coming closer, he and a friend saw a cast iron on the coals, in which toothpaste tubes were melted. Then toothpaste was sold not in plastic tubes, but in lead ones. We burned the paint from them, and then melted it in a cast iron and poured the metal through a small hole into milk bags. Holding the cast iron with my mother's grip, there was alabaster in the bags. It was he who was that white powder scattered everywhere, which we mixed with water. In a hurry, I knocked over the bag, and everything around looked like a snowstorm had just ended. We made casting molds out of alabaster. My father and a friend watched as we poured molten lead into the hole of the alabaster mold. Careful, my father said. I nodded without raising my head. What are you guys doing? He asked cautiously. Smiling back, we are doing what you told me. We are going to get rich, I replied. Yeah, Mike said, grinning and nodding. We are partners. And what's in these alabaster forms? My father asked. Careful, I said. It should make a good batch. With a small hammer, I tapped on the junction of the two parts of the form and carefully removed the top half. A coin fell out of the mold. Oh my God, exclaimed the father. So you make coins out of lead? Exactly, Mike answered. We do everything as you told us. We make money. Father's friend turned to him and laughed. Father smiled and shook his head. He glanced at the blazing grill, the box of used toothpaste tubes, and the two self-satisfied boys covered in white dust. Father asked us to leave our business and sit with him on the porch of our house. He patiently explained to us who the counterfeiters were. Our dreams were shattered. Are you saying that this is illegal? Mike asked in a trembling voice. Let them play, said my father's friend. Maybe they have a natural talent. Father looked at him angrily. Yes, it's illegal, he said quietly. But you guys have shown your creativity and original thinking. Continue in the same spirit. I'm really proud of you. In frustrated feelings, Mike and I sat in silence for about 20 minutes, and then began to clean up after ourselves. Production was completed on the opening day of the